6.6 is a motion to approve the 2021 poverty guidelines.
Motion.
Support.
Yeah, I have a motion by Councilwoman Pat, supported by Councilman Remick. Is there any discussion?
We have Jessica come up and speak him up.
Sorry, to the chair. So every year we have to get our poverty guidelines approved by council, and with this year it's a little bit different. On January 19th, the State Tax Commission approved new legislation. They're implementing Executive Order 253 that the governor signed December 23rd of 2020. So there's always been an income and an asset limitation with our guidelines, and I don't want to change that. I want to keep it at the federal guidelines plus 20%. I am proposing a flat asset ceiling at $10,000 a person or $20,000 a household. In the past, there's been also a third test that the individual would have to pass, and that would be a built-in calculation anticipating that the state refund through the 1040 CR be applied to the property taxes. The state came through and said that was no longer, they pretty much eliminated that ability for us, and gave us a generic amount that once an applicant qualifies under the asset and income guidelines, a generic either 25%, 50%, or 100% exemption. So this evening with the policy I'm presenting to you to be approved, I am presenting a 50% reduction. I see I've actually pulled the historical data, and it is pretty typical from what we've seen. I think I included 2018 to 2020. In 2020, there was only a 34% adjustment to those that qualified because we did factor in that 1040 CR. But I think this is going to, I like this personally because I think it's going to help those that need it the most. I'm not recommending the 100% exemption just due to the fact that the 1040 CR exemption refund from the state exists, and they can seek additional help through that avenue, and I do recommend that they do so. So I also wanted to add, with the state's new legislation, they also eliminated the ability to deviate from the guidelines. In the past, if there was extenuating circumstances, the board was able to deviate. The state has also eliminated that ability, so these guidelines will be blanketly applied once an individual qualifies based on the income and asset level.
Councilman Johnson?
Two quick questions. How many people have taken advantage of this typically?
So I have, I ran through, I believe it was 64, 65, and then last year we had 54 applicants. I do anticipate this increasing for this year, not only because of the new guidelines, but I know the city does opt into that Pays to Stay program. So the county is encouraging applicants that are reaching out to them to come to us first because it is a requirement. So I do anticipate an influx of applicants. That doesn't mean they're all going to qualify. However, I do think we will see an increase.
And how do they go about it? Do they get on the website? Is everything on our website for this, and all the forms and everything they need is on our Taylor website?
To the chair. Yes, everything, it's a requirement by the state for us now moving forward to have that available on our website. At pretty much this whole packet that I'm presenting you with is what is going to be presented. I mean, we can mail them. We already have a growing list of individuals that have expressed interest, and I wanted to wait till they were approved to disperse it. So we do have we're more than happy to mail them out as well. So just call us and we'll get you the information you need.
Thank you.
And that's the assessor's office.
That's the assessor's office, yes.
Councilman Missouri?
So the reports that you attached that show 25% city liability, 50% city liability, that's your calculation on the people that you know qualify, and then you're saying that there could be, I think you used the word influx, more residents that once they see these opportunities that the city liability could change based on additional applications, is that correct?
To the chair, so what I did here is my projection. What I did is I took all of the applicants, whether they qualified or not, from 2020, and I anticipated them all qualifying because I wanted to put a number value on it so you guys could see the difference between, from the liability from the city standpoint, with approving 25, 50, or 100. So do I think it's even going to be as much as this? I really don't know at this point.
Okay.
It all just depends on the interest. But I will say, this is something that is an annual approval, so if it's not working out or there's something we need to change or in the future, we can do so next year.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions?
Is this in line with other municipalities in the region with, you know, similar demographics?
So to the chair, yes, so my company handles 31 different jurisdictions. This lines up with all of the surrounding areas that I know of. 50%, actually, I have not seen anyone deviate from the 50% from the information. I even reached out to some non-WCA communities because I wanted to see what other people were doing, and it's pretty uniform.
Any other questions? Thank you. If not, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. 6.7 is a motion to approve the purchase and install of new weight equipment, cardio equipment, flooring, and dynamic rig at the Taylor Recreation Center from Johnson Health Tech, North America, Inc., DBA Matrix Fitness, low quote, for an amount of $97,402 plus a 10% contingency for an amount not to exceed $107,143, funded through the TBA capital outlay.
Motion.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilman Remick, supported by Councilwoman Witten. Is there any discussion?
Here, do we don't come up. I just wanted to say, it's still up to me, that I did go on a tour of the rec center. My opinion would have been, and I think I might have mentioned it when you were doing the spin cycle things, that we should have done this first instead of that. That's my opinion, because it's in very dire need. And if you want to explain to everyone else about all of this.
Through the chair, do you, myself first or Councilman Johnson?
Well, is that a question? You want?
Just, go ahead.
Okay, Councilman Johnson, I believe, had a question. Go ahead.
Okay, two things. Dave, did you make this spec? Who made the spec, and who came up with the equipment that's going to go in?
Assisted by the manager of the recreation center, she pretty much, by talking to the membership, we reached out to people in the fitness industry that we have contacts with, and they come up with a list of machines from like Smith Machine, Leg Press, etc., not brand specific, to try to come up with what would complement people who still want to lift what I'll call dead weight, and then you also have the machine assisted weights. We compiled a list and then kind of gave a little bit of wiggle room to the companies who were going to be quoting this project to offer their products that fit into those lines that we were looking for to offer the variety.
So their bid came in at the $97,000.
Yes, sir.
So I have a problem with contingencies.
Understood.
They bid to put that equipment in, the equipment you guys want. There should be no contingencies.
Understood.
I don't agree with them at all.
If I can just intervene, and why there will be we're asking for a contingency on this particular item is, there may be certain items that we can't get through the existing doorway. So there are some items, and I don't remember what one it was specifically, I think the leg press machine, we have to look at either dismantling and taking through the door and assembling in place, or cutting the door out and making the door wider, either temporarily or permanently. So there are some things that we don't have all the answers to, which is why we're asking for a contingency in this item. But that's one example of the unknown that we'll have to deal with.
Well, through the chair, in my opinion, the company that looked at that, they should have known what they're bidding and what it's going through. There should be no contingencies on equipment. That's my opinion.
Another big portion of that for me was the flooring. That floor that we currently have is failing pretty bad, and it was put over, I think, at a minimum, one layer of floor. They put a new layer of floor over it. So my fear is when we start to extract flooring, just doing previous projects, when you can't see it unless you start to remove it, you do sometimes run into some problematic things where you might need to do some additional work or amend things. So that was my reason for really putting that in there, is the flooring, and then also doorway issues. Obviously, we can expand the door, which we have done so we can probably fit most anything in there now.